Can you look on it? Well, actually, I have my phone here. I can look to see. So I can see the chat. Hi, and welcome to the 24-hour charity stream for challenges, games, and comics. My name is Henry Walsh, and I'm your host. Normally, I would be here dungeon mastering for the 7th Age of Ascelia game campaign, and we'll be doing that tomorrow. But for now, let me go ahead and welcome you all here and go over kind of what's been going on so you all can be caught up to speed. Challenges Games and Comics, located in Tucker, Georgia, has become a pillar really of the community, especially around the gaming community. Most of the time, we have dozens of people in here every day uh, enjoying everything from Warhammer to Magic the Gathering to Dungeons and Dragons. It's been recognized as one of the best game stores on the East Coast, and it's been recognized in the city of Tucker itself as well. Challenges Games and Comics is one of the largest black-owned businesses, black-owned game stores on the East Coast. Unfortunately, they're in trouble and they need our help. Challenges Games and Comics, for lack of a better term, got screwed by a corporation. They were in a mall in Tucker, Georgia, called North Lake Mall, and without warning and with no time to prepare anything, the mall basically went into sale to a corporation that buys up properties like malls and converts them to basically real estate value. Because of the situation, Challenges Games and Comics was given 30 days to close, to find a place and to close their doors forever. Unfortunately, finding a place in 30 days is not easy. It's not cheap. And moving a store of this size that is over 8,000 square feet and really doesn't make that much on margins is not only difficult, but it's virtually impossible. So we have started this live stream that's going to go until tomorrow at 5 p.m. in an effort to raise awareness, but also to hopefully help Challenges Games and Comics get enough money so that they can move. They have found a place maybe, but it's a little outside of budget, and so we're needing to call on the community to help. If you want to help, if you're willing to help, please just Google up Help Challenges Games and Comics. I'm sure you'll find the GoFundMe. At last check, it had almost $8,500 in it, but that's not enough. The GoFundMe says 9,000, but it raises every so often. Realistically, we need about $30,000 to move this store. Now, I am not an employee of the store. This is not a live stream that's being run by the store. It's just being hosted by the store. As always, my game was run simply because the store wanted to foster more D&D games in the community, and we started this stream. They supplied our streaming equipment and our play space. So our stream will also be going away when the store closes at the end of the month. However, while we're here, we're going to try to help this store because it really is important to the community and it's really important to Tucker and it's really important to us here in Atlanta. Over the next 24 hours, we'll be doing several games. They will start around 10 o'clock tonight. We'll be doing several D&D games, a special heist from the people in my 7th Age of Ascelia game as they do a one-shot because they hired a group of ne'er-do-wells to procure a magical shield for them. We will be doing a magic-focused high-level one-shot called the Witching Hour. We will also be doing a one-shot of Neon Odyssey tomorrow. And then we will do my normal 7th Age of Ascelia campaign tomorrow from 1 to 5. In between this, we're going to be doing a lot of social interaction with the community and answering any questions that people have. And so you'll be seeing me check my phone now and again to see what people are saying and to see what I can answer. I know that we probably don't have that many viewers. We're not a big channel, but I've reached out to several streamers who said that they are willing to help. And so that's what we're doing. Can you go grab Tony? Can you grab Tony for me?
Post the link to the GoFundMe in the chat.
We can. I think we can. If you want to, please. I don't think we have any like moderators that will stop it. I was planning to post it every so often. Yep, there we go. As you can see in the chat, there is a link to the GoFundMe, and if you're watching this later on VOD on Challenges YouTube channel, you can look up Challenges Games and Comics on YouTube, and all our VODs from our previous episodes are there. Normally, we don't do a whole lot of audience interaction because we're running a game, but today's kind of special. We're going to have interviews with Tony Cade, the owner and operator of Challenges Games and Comics. We're going to be doing several tutorials. One, we're going to have one of my players, who is an award-winning Warhammer painter, give a painting tutorial on miniatures. I am an author in real life, and I will be talking about world building and writing for role-playing games. We have some other fun surprises. Excuse me. Oh, pretty tired. I can tell today's going to be a lot of fun. We will be taking kind of breaks and going back to our waiting stream occasionally as we have to set the table up for various games and whatnot. We have several other options. As said, we've reached out to other creators and streamers, and we're hoping that will help basically spread awareness of the situation going on. We are currently waiting on Tony Cade, like I said, the owner, to come back so we can do a brief interview with him, and he'll be on screen with me. I'm sure for those of you who have followed the stream, you're probably thinking that this camera looks a little weird. That's because we put this in so I have enough room for someone else to sit with me. If anyone has any questions or comments or inquiries in the chat, please feel free to let us know. Though I don't think we really have that many viewers yet, but still, for the sake of the VOD, I should say that. Let me explain how important Challenges kind of is to me. So, as I mentioned, I'm an author in real life, but I'm also disabled. And Challenges have welcomed me with open arms since I got to Atlanta. I'm a lot better now than I was, but Tony really supported me through what I was going through and has supported my career as a writer. And as such, helping Tony is very important to me as well. I can see him approaching the studio booth right now. If you want to come on this side. Oh, he'll be here in just a minute. We have a chair. And let me make sure we're still in frame. Yeah, I should have hit it to DM camera, I think. Oh, it's angled there. There we go.
My frame stood up.
Scooch on in.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Tony is now here. This is Tony Cade. Why don't you give an introduction for yourself? Who are you? What do you do?
I'm Tony Cade. I'm the owner of Challenges Games and Comics. I've been a retailer of comics and pop culture and games for about 30 years.
What got you started in this?
Well, actually, it was a friend of mine, Tim. He actually wanted to own a comic book shop, but he'd already sold his back issues. And so he came to me, wanting me to come in as a silent partner.
Okay.
And provide back issues for the store.
Okay.
Because I still had my collection.
Oh, all right.
You know, something like a silent partner.
How many comics do you have?
I have no clue how many comics I have.
You don't clue, okay?
No clue whatsoever.
What's your most valuable one?
My personal collection, my most, it's either Avengers #1 or X-Men #1.
Oh, you have, wow. An actual, wow.
Yeah.
So I know who to rob when I want comics.
You gotta find them.
All right. So I've kind of given them my version of kind of what's been going on and what's going on with the store in terms of, what this corporation, I can't remember the name of it. It's a Centurion something or other.
Yeah, they're the ones that reportedly bought them all.
Gotcha. From the last I heard, they weren't even confirming that.
No.
Um,
Everything is still like up in the air. The only thing and stuff that has gone out that is for certain is that all of the mall vendors who are on the interior of the mall
Mhm.
basically got letters and emails on the 29th of May saying that they were activating the 30-day clauses in our leases and that we should vacate within 30 days. Since that time period, we were supposed to have a meeting with mall management that following Wednesday after they sent it out on Friday evening after hours.
right.
And management never showed up. And we were told by security that they would meet with us individually. That has never happened.
And to something I can confirm, when news stations got involved, because Fox 5 came out, Channel 11 came out, Channel 2 came out, I believe.
I was on Atlanta News First, Channel 2, Channel 5, Channel 11. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution came out. We were interviewed by the Decatur-ish and something Roadhouse Atlanta, I think, was like another one. It was like 8 different interviews.
And also, like, I did research on the company, on the store and the history, and I did find out going through everything. I found that you are one of, if not the, actually one of the largest black-owned game stores, comic and game stores on the East Coast.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's what we found out when we did research for this event. Um, so why don't you go ahead and talk a little about the things you do for the community? I know that you do the Atlanta Comic Expo.
Yeah, the Atlanta Sci-Fi Fantasy Expo.
Right, of which I've been a guest at. And
which is free to the public.
Yeah, there is a free convention that Tony hosts every year. He charges nothing, and vendors come in, and comic book creators come in, and
authors, comic book creators, people who work in film and TV. Yeah, last year we had 50 vendors and guests.
And I was there. It was a very, very cool. Let's see. You have classes for kids occasionally.
Oh yeah, I mean, but last summer we actually did with Dan Flores and his lovely wife. We actually had a STEAM camp for girls.
Oh, it was a STEM camp.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't actually know about that.
You know, they add the art to it, so
Yeah.
You know, instead of STEM, they add that A for the STEAM.
Oh, okay. Let me think of other things.
We've done those. Was it last weekend or weekend before that? We did a thing on creating in the Marvel Universe, where we had an author and a director who've worked on projects for Marvel Comics. We had Angela Barnes, who was the director on Ironheart and also this season's Daredevil.
Oh, wow.
She was one of our guest speakers.
I didn't know that. I wasn't aware. I know you also did Juneteenth yesterday.
Well, Juneteenth was yesterday, but we did the event on the 13th.
Okay, well, I was out of town, unfortunately. I didn't get to see it. And you do a lot of Magic the Gathering things, pre-releases.
Oh yeah, like right now we got a Magic pre-release going on. You know, we do board game gets-togethers. You know, to help increase that community. We have an artist meetup group that comes in the last Sunday of every month.
Right.
And they work together, share their ideas on art, and have actually started creating their own anthology, which is actually kind of interesting because a company called Terminus Media, which I helped found, was actually the combination of 2 groups that used to meet at my store. We had art classes going on, and we also had a screenwriters group. And so we had the idea of putting them together and producing an anthology comic book series. And that group wound up actually becoming a company called Terminus Media that went on to do work for the Center for Disease Control and other companies.
That's wonderful. Also, you're a comic creator yourself.
Mm-hmm.
if I remember correctly. In fact, I have all your issues, so I know. But why don't you tell about your comic book?
Uh, well, like I said, I produced a lot of different titles and stuff with Terminus Media. Uh, before we kind of like split and went in a different direction. And we've actually had like a few creators that have worked with us that have gone on to work for like Marvel and DC.
All right. Next question, I think would be, uh, what are you hoping to do to move the store? What are your plans at the moment?
Well, basically because it was like just such short notice, I'm just trying to find a spot that we can go into. I had to be honest, this was like the dream location.
Yeah.
You know, by being inside of a mall, even though everybody considered it a dead mall, it made it so that I had ample parking for whatever activities we wanted to do. Plus, we had 24-hour security, you know,
Right.
in the mall. It's like to break into my store, you had to first break into the mall. Because a lot of game shops have been having problems with smash and grabs, especially with the popularity of Pokemon right now.
Yeah, Pokemon is
All right.
definitely a thing.
You know, so I always felt good and stuff having the security of being in a mall because I figure that, you know, customers that are interested in what we do with the whole pop culture thing are going to come to us anyway.
And since we're talking about a number of topics, let's talk about like card games for a second. Um, like I know that you have been one of the few retailers that has worked against scalping, from my understanding, um, which is something in the currently that's just not done. Like scalping's a big problem, and you've taken steps to make sure that the community has access to cards for drafting, even when that might actually hurt your bottom line. So you've done a lot for like the Magic community in general, as for actual players.
Yeah, like I said, you know, we try to.
All right. Let me see. Do you follow any of the card games? I know you do Magic. Do you follow any of the others?
I know.
No.
I mean, yeah, I don't want to sound snooty about it, but, you know, once you play Magic, the other card games are kind of eh.
Okay.
You know, and I'm somebody who played the original Star Wars and Star Trek card games, and I love those licenses.
I didn't know there was a Star Trek card game.
Oh yeah, it was put out by a company called Decipher back in the day. Remember, I've been doing this now for like 30 years. Back when I was like young and skinny.
Yeah.
You know, neither
But
one of those things now. So
by the way, for like viewers at home, Tony is older than me. He doesn't look it. He has that weird gene where like he doesn't age. It's not fair. How old are you, Tony?
62.
62. You got a good 12 years on me. Actually, 12 years. Let's see. I'm 45. 17 years on me. Wow. Makes me feel old. I know because I
And
look
at
like
45, I was still, you know, going to Dragon Con and like going to like the really cool debauchery parties.
I I I believe that. I truly believe that. Um, have any has anyone reached out like to help the store, like any other celebrity endorsements? I know I got a couple that came in and did some videos for you. Is anyone else? I know you have some friends who've asked to be part of this, who've sent videos of interviews done, some podcasts. You want to shout out any of your friends while you're here?
No,
You don't want to shout out? Come on, man! You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me.
what? It's
Um,
like, yo, check out the sites. You know, make people do a little research.
no one wants to do research anymore. It's only nerds like me who want to do research. Like
But not the people from the Mana Nui
Yeah.
podcast and stuff. You know, have interviewed me,
Yeah.
and also people from Grumpy Old Nerds.
Grumpy Old Nerds is very good, and y'all should all check them out. They're on Facebook and on
I'm assuming everybody's on Facebook and YouTube and all that good stuff.
yeah, that's true. We'll try later on to get links to all of those people mentioned and throw them in the chat. So you're gonna try to find a place to move the store, and I know you've got some leads, but nothing has actually fully materialized.
Nothing's 100%.
Nothing's 100%, and I understand, and so I know this is personal. You can say you don't want to try. I've been saying that currently our GoFundMe has raised about $8,500, somewhere in that vicinity. The store needs realistically about 30,000 is what we're thinking.
Well, to move into this location, it cost 3 years ago. It cost me about $30,000.
Yeah. I mean, you've looked at any other places, so you're thinking you'll need another 30,000 total to do it.
I hope not, because I don't have it. But yeah, it's like right now, the place that we've gotten paperwork for.
Mm-hmm.
All right, they not only want like a security deposit in the first month's rent,
Right.
they want a security deposit first month's rent and last month's rent.
Okay.
So basically, I'm like, you guys want me to upfront give you 3 months worth of rent? And I'm just like, that's outrageous.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, that's how the contracts work now. And I'm just like, yeah, it seems like every time I have to do this, things get tougher and tougher. It's like right now, places are wanting like, $25 a square foot plus cam charges, which are basically like another $4 to $5 a square foot.
For people who may not know, because I barely know,
Common area maintenance.
Common area. Okay, that's what CAM stands for. Common area maintenance, and basically it's just like operating cleanup, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, continue on. I just wanted to make sure our people watching at home are kind of like staying informed as to what's going on.
So if let's say somebody has like a 4,000 square foot store,
right,
which is basically only the front part of our store.
Yeah.
That means the monthly rent would be about $10,000 a month.
That's outrageous. It's impossible especially like for a card and game shop. And I know this is probably something you don't want to get into, but in the efforts of actually communicating what's going on, game stores and comic shops don't have those kind of margins.
No. I mean, basically, almost no retail has those kind of margins unless you're like selling gold or something else.
Okay.
That's why it's like, there's a difference between now what's considered like the dead mall and the luxury malls. The luxury malls and the malls that have like an Apple store.
Right.
Okay. The people who usually shop in the luxury stores aren't the people and stuff that are trying to save money, like sell about like using Amazon.
Right.
All right. They go like, hey, I got money. I want to be seen. These are the cool stores. These are the cool clothes. Let me go get them.
I got you.
Okay. All right. You have a lot of people and stuff with, card games. And, they're looking for the best deal.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
And I'll be straight up with people and stuff. It's like a lot of times and stuff, people will come in. It's like, hey, I got a box of Magic from you.
Right.
And, I spent like $130. Mm-hmm. All right. And I'm like, yeah, the box cost me $105. It's like, I'm appreciative, but we are not making anywhere near as much money as they think. They think that we're getting the box for half that price.
Right.
And then selling it to them.
Right.
Our margins are nowhere near that big, especially when you get like the licensed stuff from like Wizards of the Coast, like the new Marvel set that just came out.
Yeah, you're doing a pre-release for that, like in the other room.
Right, we're doing a pre-release for that in the other room and stuff. It's like that both boxes were over $100. All right, so yeah, we're asking like $135 for them.
Right,
but we're not making like $70.
Gotcha.
Off the box. Yeah. It's not the way things are working.
Yeah, because that's one thing a lot of people don't understand the margins in a game store. A lot of people think that you're getting, like, even I used to think like you would get them for half price. I would figure you would pay like $50 and get a box of Magic cards, and now I know that's not true. And also you're fighting market prices and scalpers and a lot of other things that really kind of makes staying in the business rather difficult. In addition to that, you also do Warhammer. And you have a big Warhammer tournament coming up in just a few days.
We do.
On the 27th, I think.
We do.
Yeah.
I hadn't been keeping up with that.
Is that Cayman's kind of thing?
Yeah, he usually keeps up with it and stuff. It's like what I mentioned to you today and stuff, where like people came in for the card game and the showdown.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I forgot about that. But that's the thing about it is like when you have a store, which is why I'm gonna be really sad about losing this. I can easily hold 150 people in the store.
Yeah.
Okay, we have held pre-releases to different games at the same time. We've done like pre-releases for Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! Simultaneously while running a Warhammer event.
Yeah. And also, for those of you who are watching and have watched the stream, Tony was one of the people who helped us get started with the stream. In fact, we can only do this because of Tony, and it was Tony heard my game and was kind of invested in it, and he asked us to do a stream, and my players finally agreed after some teeth pulling. And he supported us, and he supports a lot of the community. So there's a big Warhammer thing. I know it's on the 27th. I knew when it was. So also, we mentioned a person named Cayman. You'll be meeting Cayman tomorrow. One of our segments tomorrow is called Shit Talking Comics with Cayman, because we also sell comics. So speaking of comics, who's your favorite comic character?
The Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four?
Yeah, the Fantastic Four is basically what got me into this business. Like most kids and stuff, I was drawn to a lot of the DC comics because I recognized them from cartoons and stuff like that. So I was, reading Superman books and I was reading Batman books. But back then, and comics were only 25 cents back in the day, there was no continuity. They would like tell a story, and then the next month when you pick up the comic, there wasn't necessarily a continuation of the story. All right. I recognized Marvel comics and the Fantastic Four because I remember seeing reruns of the old Hanna-Barbera cartoon. And so at that point, I picked up a Fantastic Four comic, and there was like a continuing story like every single month.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like you're following a storyline. To me, it was like a kid soap opera.
Right. I mean, it's basically what comics are.
And, it would introduce me to like a lot of the characters because I was, reading the Fantastic Four. And so I got introduced to, the Submariner.
Right.
Which is still one of my favorite characters.
Namor, yeah.
All right. Now I was introduced to Black Panther.
Oh, everyone loves Black Panther.
Okay. And then even though he was only in it and stuff for like, I think 1 or 2 issues back in the day, Luke Cage.
Yeah, Power Man.
Yeah. But I had no idea who he was until I was reading a story where the Thing had lost his powers.
Mm-hmm.
And so Mr. Fantastic hired Luke Cage, Hero for Hire, to sub in for the Thing until he could work something out with the Thing's powers.
Okay.
And so that exposed me to like more characters. And then I started like picking up the books with those characters in them.
Okay.
That's why it's like, I was attracted to the characters, of course, like the Silver Surfer. So I basically, went out and stuff, and it's like I got the first appearance of the Silver Surfer Galactus.
Nice.
I went out and got the first appearance of the Black Panther. I went out and got, Luke Cage, Hero for Hire #1, because I was introduced to these characters through the Fantastic Four.
All right, what got you into card games?
All right. At that time and stuff, me and my buddy Tim, we had the shop down by Ponce Highland.
Right.
Basically across the street from Manuel's Tavern.
Okay.
And some people came into the shop and they were like, "Hey, do you guys have Magic cards?" And we were like, "No, you got to get those from Eddie's Trick Shop over Memorial Drive." Okay. They're like, "No, the card game, Magic the Gathering." And then we were like, "We've never heard of that. What is that?" And then they were like, "Here, let us show you." And they broke out the Magic decks and they literally showed us how to play. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta get with the shooter. I gotta get these things in,
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we got into it. And like Magic was like really hard to get. Well, like a lot of games that are popular, they're still like really hard to get when they first come out. But I would order like 10 boxes and be lucky if I got one. That's just how hard it was. I remember one of the first boxes and stuff I got in were the Dark. All right. And we were selling them even back then for like $6 a pack because they were so hard to get. And that was like the demand price for the pack of cards.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, whatever we got in sold like hotcakes. And so a lot of stores got in the habit of over ordering.
Okay.
All right. And so then when a set called Fallen Empires came out.
Oh, I know Fallen Empires.
All right. Suddenly, when stores had ordered 50 boxes in hopes of getting 5,
right,
they actually got the 50 boxes.
Oh, wow.
And so it put a lot of stores out of business because for those who remember Fallen Empires, it wasn't a very good set.
No, Fallen Empires was pretty bad.
It was a bad set, and it was plentiful. Okay. So, that's why I always kind of like look at every release like, I don't know, about whether or not it's going to be a hot set or not.
And just kind of go with it. Because I know like Recently, Magic did Final Fantasy, and that was like gangbusters because I played that.
Oh yeah, it's like got to the point of stuff with that. It's like the collector packs were literally selling for over $100 a pack,
That's crazy.
and we're still selling out. But then, like I said, you made all that money off of Final Fantasy if you were lucky to over order on Final Fantasy, and I did over order on Final Fantasy. All right, and it wasn't because I was a Final Fantasy fan.
No, you are. I mean, you like Final Fantasy cards.
But you know, the only Final Fantasy game I actually played was Final Fantasy 11, and that's because my girlfriend at the time was playing Final Fantasy 11, and she bought me the game and the expansion so that I could play with her.
Oh, okay.
All right, but then I started, of course, playing without her.
Oh, okay.
And then because I purposely kept my gaming computer at the shop. All right, you know, so I wouldn't like do other stuff and rest when I got home. One night I was like, well, hey, let me go out here and do a little farming before I go home. And at that time, the shop was closing at like 7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I get there just to do a little something, something. Next thing I know, I look and the sun is coming up. And I'm just like, what have I done? And so that's when I kicked the MMO habit.
I think anyone watching this stream has had that in the has had that experience. I've had that. I'm gonna have that experience tonight. Before we go on, I want to mention we had a couple people. Well, we've had one person so far comment. A Vote Coconut said the convention was so fun last year. It always is. Much love for the store.
I appreciate it.
Really
appreciate
nice.
it.
KNS Soze says, I still remember those late LAN party nights back in the Horde days.
Who said that? Tell them what's their real name. Tell them I need a real name here.
Well, they can hear you.
Okay.
There's it's name. Matt.
Oh, okay, Matt. Yeah, of course. Yeah, like I said, that's back when we were doing computer gaming, and that was fun. We were playing StarCraft.
Okay.
And of course, we played to me, Warcraft wasn't the World of Warcraft. I actually played Warcraft.
The RTS.
Combat.
Yeah.
So that was my Warcraft. And the what was the shooting game we played? Well, we played a little bit of Halo because I enjoyed running over people in the Jeep and Halo. But what was the
Doom, Wolfenstein, Perfect Dark, GoldenEye.
No, ours was Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike. Oh, Counter-Strike, the original Counter-Strike.
First-person shooter.
Yeah, Matt.
And I was a big sniper.
Yeah, Soze filled that in with Counter-Strikes. Mm-hmm. Oh, you were one of those dirty people.
Oh, everybody always wonders why on my computer I have a trackball instead of a mouse. It's because I started using the trackball for the first-person shooters.
Okay.
And so the trackballs are my, gun of choice.
And for the Magic players that might be watching, I'm hoping I have a Magic player who I follow who we've been advertised in her chat. She was actually the person, you remember the ad that with the Muppets?
Oh yeah, that was so cute.
Oh, that was so cute. She actually was the person who helped us get that.
Oh, sweet.
She runs a Magic Frozen Throne. Someone says Vote Coconut says Frozen Throne is my favorite Warcraft. So, but she helped us do that, and I've advertised in her stream. She told me I could advertise in her stream. So hopefully we get some Magic players. And so talking about Magic, you also still continue to grow the Magic community. I noticed earlier today when I was setting up for this stream and putting things together that you were out there teaching 3 kids how to play Magic.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, to me, my business for anything is growing the cultures and creating my own customer bases.
Right.
To me, it's like the whole idea of like opening up a store and trying to do like deep discounts to steal other people's customers and stuff like that. That's not me. I'm not into that stuff. My thing is to like, give knowledge and, show people the fun to be had in the community and to create new players or new comic collectors.
Because I know, and I can attest to that. I know, like for a while, there was like a convenience store that had moved in. It was just across the way, and you would actually stop selling drinks and snacks because you didn't want to take business away from them.
Right.
And a lot of people wouldn't do that. And that's one of the things I really like about you, and one of the things I really love about the store is this store is really the epitome of not money at all costs, but you actually care about the community. I wish I could swivel this camera around and show people like what we have going on in the room next to us. For those who are wondering what I'm talking about, immediately on the other side of the glass, outside of our kind of makeshift studio here, we have an entire room full of Warhammer and board game players who are currently going around and just playing different games right now. There's also a back to things you do for the community. You also host a monthly board game day.
Oh yeah, we do the board game day monthly. We do the art get together monthly, and we've actually had a group that started actually coming in and doing crocheting.
Crocheting.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's a new one. I didn't picture the store for crocheting.
We're into all the hobbies.
Well, yeah. I mean, you support the community in pretty much everything. And I already mentioned that you were named right before you found out they were closing you down. Was it the same day you found out you were like Tucker? You were Tucker's business of the month, and then like you got home and oops. That had to be a kick in the teeth. I'm real sorry. To
Tucker's business of the month. Now get out.
And so we're here fighting the evil corporations. And again, if I can, I would like to direct the chat to look up our GoFundMe. And I'm going to bring it up on my phone so I can, because I am not actually I am using my phone because our computer system that runs the stream is over there. And therefore I can't actually do the administrator stuff. But this is the GoFundMe link. Wow, that is huge. That gigantic wall of text that you see there is the GoFundMe link. I'll fix that and pare it down. But currently we're around 8,500. We could really use anyone's support and anyone's help. Again, Tony is getting... this is me saying this, not you. I don't want you to be liable for anything I say. So anything here said is what's the radio say? Anything here said is my personal opinion, and in no way, shape, or form reflects the opinions of Challenges, Games, and Comics, except when they do. And you're basically getting screwed by a corporation. You're not going to say it. I'll say it. He's getting screwed by a corporation. And also, if anyone has any questions, if we have any people in, I'm not actually sure. We don't have a tech person here right now. My players and my tech people will be here later. To let you know how much people care about Tony's shop, one of Tony's employees, a young man named Nate, has actually volunteered for this 24-hour shift. After he is no longer getting paid, he is planning to come back here and run our tech all night long. Just so we can...
And speaking of Nate, he's actually up there right now with a young gentleman teaching him how to play Warhammer.
Well, yeah, I mean, Nate would do that. If anyone has any questions for Tony Cade, you can please throw them in the chat. This is more of an interactive portion, so this is basically my version of a talk show. So... Again, Challenges, Games, and Comics, Tucker, Georgia. If you can click on the link I put into the chat, or if you can go to, just go to Google and look up How Challenges Games, you'll find the GoFundMe. Any little bit helps. 5, 10, whatever you can spare. I've spared as much as I can. And you know, we are funded by viewers like you. As they say. We have a comment by Canis Soze, which your friend. Soon as the call goes out, I can be down there to help move and do some more electrical and handyman work again. We'll have no problem coming down from Greenville to support.
Okay.
So,
well, like I said, one of the spots that we're looking at, they're talking about combining 2 spots.
Okay.
One is a beauty supply place that is leaving their space,
Right.
and right next to it, what used to be a cigar shop.
Okay.
All right. So, and the contract that we're working on, everything is going to be like as is.
Okay.
All right. So I hate it when they do as is, because when you try to call to get help, they remind you that everything is as is.
To give just a second to interrupt, to give the people viewing an understanding, and Tony touched on it earlier when they had to spend $30,000 to move into this place. When they got this place, this is the place that is throwing them out, mind you. When they got this place, this entire building, all 9,800 square feet, is it 90 or is it 8,900 or 9,800?
8,900.
Okay, 8,900 square feet. This place was trashed, and Tony spent $30,000 of his own money to fix this place up for them all, and then they did this to him. And if he had that $30,000 back, he could probably move. But that is something that they dealt with. This is the second time they have been forced to move, but at least the first time they gave you some warning.
Oh yeah, the first time and stuff we were over at North DeKalb Mall, we knew that the mall had been sold. We knew exactly what they planned on doing with the mall. So we were able to like basically, set money repeatedly to the side. Usually and stuff, we like to try to like bring in new products and things that, customers might like. But we were able to like pare down on that stuff and kind of like put money to the side. And then when it did happen, they gave us 90 days.
Okay.
All right. The problem with this is that there was no pre-warning.
Right.
All right. There was no talk of it being sold. All right. And then they're basically just like at the end of last month, after business hours on a Friday, they send out notice that you got 30 days to get out.
It's terrible. Hold on just one second. Can I get you to do me a favor? Can you go out there and round up any customers who would like to talk about their experiences here at Challenges and see if they would come back and sit in for an interview? I know you don't.
Well, I can do that myself.
Yeah, but I want you here. Like, this is your time to say whatever you would like to the people. If anyone has any questions for Tony, please go ahead and put them in the chat. It would be greatly appreciated. And give us something to do, because we're going to be killing time here for a few hours yet. I know the store closes at 7, and once it closes, we are locked in. Do remind me to get our stuff out of your freezer for midnight snackies, because we're not to walk out into the main store, from my understanding. Given what's going on. But we are going to be locked in as of 7 p.m.
And we just got around and stuff to redoing it in the bathrooms, so that you guys could use the bathrooms in the store instead of going out to the mall bathrooms. And now we got to leave.
Just redid the bathrooms. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I'm really glad you redid the bathrooms, because chances are my crew and I are going to be using them. We even have people bringing in toilet paper. We didn't know how much you had. But is there anything else you would like to say to people who are reading? Just like kind of put your own kind of pitch for helping out. Why do you think Challenges, Games, and Comics is important?
Well, as I get quoted, and told by customers, is that for a lot of them, this is community.
Right.
A lot of I actually shared a picture on Facebook recently about my original, kind of like kids that started with us when they were Pokemon kids back in the 90s. And they would come to the Horde when they were like little kids. And now they're like 40-year-old men bringing their kids here to the store.
So you've got like generations of customers.
Like some of the people and stuff that came and played Magic, today in the pre-release, they're now like out of college and starting their careers. But they started off with me as middle schoolers. And so kind of like to see them, all growing up now.
Yeah.
And I remember it's like when such and such and such was a little cute little pudgy kid, and now I'm kind of like looking all the way up at him,
All right. I think we're gonna wrap. If you want to go ahead and like start sending people back.
Okay.
and I will entertain the guests while we wait for more people to interview.
All right, sounds good.
All right,
Thanks, Henry.
thank you for coming, man. Love you, brother. All right. Well, I'm going to take back over for a few minutes. We're going to get some people in here to talk about the store because we do have time to kill. It is almost 6 p.m. It is 5:52. We have been streaming now for almost 1 hour. Again, we are planning to go a full 24 hours. Might be a couple breaks in there. People need to get food. People might need to lay down.
Do you want the interview?
Yeah, we'll keep the interview because I'm going to bring people in to talk to. Glad to see how many are coming together to help. Reminds me of the last two store moves. Yeah, that's definitely kind of the feeling we're getting out of it, Soze. And Vote Coconut reads, every weekend I go to Challenges Games and Comics to play Dungeons and Dragons. I'm really going to miss the space that Tony has created at the shop. Who is Vote Coconut? Oh, I know who Vote Coconut is. Now I know. Took me like I don't recognize people's Twitch handles. For those of you who are wondering why I look so clueless when it comes to Twitch, I do nothing on the Twitch side except host the game because I am completely inept. If I didn't have my other players, if I didn't have my people, I would be completely and totally useless. I am only good at writing stuff and running games. That's about it. We have a couple people coming in though that we're gonna have interviews. First of all, one person I've been wanting to get on stream for a while. Nate, come over here. Yeah, you. Don't swear on the stream. I'm only the person allowed to swear on the stream.
Understood. Do I need to have my knife? Or...
I'm joking. Well, first you.
What?
I don't care if you have. You work here. It's fine. So our next guest, for those of you who don't know, have a seat.
That's it, Nate.
You gonna sit, Nate?
Had to find-
This is Nate. He is one of our unsung heroes of the stream. The person who changes the names of our episodes and the person who fixes it when I break it.
Don't worry, I already messed it up.
He handles this is our technical guy. He works for Challenges, and Challenges has been nice enough to often loan him to us while they're paying him to help us out. So Nate, what do you like about the store aside from the fact that it's your job?
Well, I mean, A, Soviet Union. I can't really talk against my boss. B, please help me.
Oh no, this is delicious.
So first off, I get a free place to play games that I enjoy with my friends. At this point, I rarely see a couple of my friends other than here just because life took them in separate directions. So I get a space that's in between all of us that we can go. Free tables, good community, people that are actually really nice. Like in any community, you're gonna have a group of weird people. As far as challenges goes, just the atmosphere they have has done a pretty good job of rooting out people who either just not good sports, not fun to play against, not great people in general.
Yeah.
The game store's done a pretty good job at just rooting that out. Well before I even started working for Tony. Just from being here, I've gotten exposed to multiple different game systems that honestly, just off of personal preference, I never would have actually wound up playing. A couple of the Marvel games, which
HeroClix?
yeah, HeroClix especially. It's not my favorite game system, but I will play it, and I actually really enjoy it. I like Kari, and I like his group that plays it. I've been exposed to a bunch of game systems I never would have played. Horus Heresy, for example, another 40k game. Actually quickly became one of my favorite game systems just because I enjoy the system for armor, so I can actually have real tank tactics unlike 40k.
Vote Coconut says, shout out to Nate for running the stream for D&D.
Don't say that just yet.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you out of the hot seat so
Cool,
you
thanks.
can. If you want to go find more people to send them back, that would be great. Come on over.
Volunteer people.
Yeah, volunteer people.
Nice. I love that job.
Hi, how's it going?
Hey, how you going?
Why don't you go ahead and start by introducing who you are?
I'm Matt. I've been coming to the store since.
Are you this Matt? No, or are you a different
No,
Matt?
different
Oh,
Matt.
we have multiple Matts here. Okay,
We
good.
do. We have multiple mats. But yeah, I've been going to the store since since before it was a comic book shop.
Okay.
Been going to the challenges since it was in North DeKalb Mall and it was an arcade.
Okay.
And found out during COVID that Tony had bought the place and kept the name alive, kept the sign up, and turned it into a comic book shop, which is something I had been saying for years needed to happen with that space. And went in the store. My wife was just getting into D&D at the time, and because I have to give credit to Tony and Cayman, I don't think my wife would have actually gotten into D&D if they hadn't made it seem so inviting.
Yeah, definitely. Tony has gone out of his way to create a welcoming environment to promote different things. Aside from that, what's your favorite thing about challenges?
I'm gonna have to piggyback on what Nate said. It gives me a place to play the games I want to play with people I know and meet new people to
Right.
play games with and understand new types of games. So like, since I've been coming here regularly for the past couple months, I've picked up like 3 or 4 different new games I never would have even known about at all.
Oh yeah, what kind of games?
King of Tokyo, I'm looking into.
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah,
looks really fun.
I won one of those tournaments.
Yeah, I heard about that. It just looks like a lot of fun. I'm gonna get into Axis and Allies. That looks like a lot of fun because I came into the shop for Horus Heresy.
Yeah, the Warhammer 40K.
Warhammer 40K game, and I mean, look, if you're in Atlanta and you want to get started in 40K or Horus Heresy, I'm gonna say just come to challenges. The people here know enough to get anybody started.
Yes, Axis and Allies for the win. Canis Jose says.
Okay, I mean, look, it looks like fun.
It does. It definitely looks like fun. I played it back in the day. Like I played it, like in the early '90s, back like an earlier version of it. Oh god, that was so long ago. For those of you who missed it, yes, I am 45 years old. I have been a dungeon master since 1988. I'm old. Started when I was 8.
So you had started. What would your first version have been?
Uh,
First edition or second edition?
So my Dungeons and Dragons. I was going to share this from my interview, but I can go for it now. It's great. Oh, also, Soze says global edition with the French expansion for Axis.
Anything French. Anything French.
I like French fries. Anyway,
those are Belgian.
So my my Dungeons and Dragons journey began in 1988. I was very poor growing up. My family was incredibly poor. And I lived in Southeast Georgia, so it was like the middle of nowhere. It's a tiny little town called Douglas. Not Douglasville.
No, I know Douglas. Douglas is literally nowhere.
Yeah.
There's not another town for miles.
So I lived in Douglas, and my dad had given me $5 for my birthday, which in 1988 money it was
That's a decent amount.
Yeah, it was about the equivalent of about $20.
That's a decent amount of money for a kid.
He took me to a flea market, an indoor flea market, and I was a big reader because I was 4 years advanced for my age. I skipped 4 grades, so I was like in middle school at 8 years old. I went there because there was a used book kiosk that I used to buy books from, and I go in, and the owner, who knew me because I used to go constantly to his physical shop, goes, "Hey Henry, I got something here you might like, and I don't think anyone else here is going to buy it because yes, for those of you wondering, the Satanic Panic was a thing, and it still exists in some of those rural places." And so he hands me a box, a red box, and he says $1.80.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, right. So I bought it, and I bought, I believe, the novelization. I bought that and the novelization of Star Wars: A New Hope. And I bought both of those things. And then when I went home, I knew nothing about Dungeons. I mean, the only Dungeons and Dragons exposure I had was to the 1983 Dungeons and Dragons cartoon show.
Oh my god.
Like that was my only exposure because my parents weren't nerds.
That's a gem, right?
Yeah,
there.
my parents weren't nerds, so like that's all I knew. And so I go home and I open this box, and I am forever grateful that I opened this box. Inside it wasn't just one game. Someone had taken for those of you who aren't super into Dungeons and Dragons, there's something called the BECME. It stands for Basic Expert Champion uh, Master Immortal, BECMI, BECMI, which were these tiny, kind of thin, flappy books that covered Dungeons and Dragons, not advanced Dungeons and Dragons, Dungeons and Dragons. And so it had all of them in it. Like someone had just stuffed them all in this box. And also,
your first exposure was a complete Beck
a complete BECMI set.
Oh my god!
And I still have it. I still have it actually. And it also had the dice. Like someone had put a set of dice in it. It was the ones where like you had to use a crayon to like color in the numbers. And we had someone had left graph paper in there with some
kill for one of those today.
Someone left graph paper in there that had some like rudimentary dungeons like drawn on it.
Oh,
and there was a couple pencils in there, and this was before like Dungeons and Dragons didn't really use a grid map or anything like this.
You were just set.
I was set, and so I called my friends up and said, "Hey, we're gonna play this new game I got called Dungeons and Dragons." And so, and I was like, and my dad said he'll order pizza and I can have guests over. So we all came, didn't know the rules. We're kind of winging it, and that first game sucked. Like I was bad at it. We had fun, but I did not know what I was doing. But I kind of stuck with it, and then like my friends kind of stuck with it, and then we moved on. And as I got better, I tried different editions, and so that's how I got started in like D&D. That's what was my introduction to it.
I can't think of a more perfect introduction to D&D. That's
and I never played it before. I didn't know anyone. Douglas didn't have any game stores. The nearest game store to Douglas was in a town called Valdosta, which was about 45 minutes south.
in the middle of nowhere as well.
Well, Valdosta's actually like a decent.
I mean, it's on
size,
75.
yeah. So that was my exposure to D&D. I never had a game store. I didn't know what Dungeons and Dragons was supposed to look like. We didn't have like they do today, where like people can go online and watch like Let's Plays and be like, oh, this is how Dungeons and Dragons works. Nothing like that. Never had any exposure.
Much cooler than my first introduction.
What was your introduction?
My first introduction with D&D. I mean, there's my first introduction, and then there's me actually getting into it personally.
Right.
My first introduction, my cousin, is quite possibly in the running for biggest nerd.
Oh. I don't know. I got some. I got some people.
I mean, his go-to Halloween costume is a lizard wizard. He's a dragonborn wizard, completely like advanced D&D lizard wizard. He's a kobold wizard. He had introduced me to Star Wars at like 3 years old. Like my first memory is actually like I'm not joking. My first memory is the opening crawl to New Hope. That is the first image I can remember.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Luckily, I could read at that age, so that was really great. But no, my first introduction to D&D was just like, he just threw me into a D&D campaign when I was a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
But then I didn't really. I knew about it. I knew about Warhammer, everything. I was more of a gamer for years, and like I knew everything in these RPG games I was playing came from D&D. I knew that. But then I get home from college, my first semester of college, and reconnect with my best friend. My best friend's like, "Here, you're gonna come with me. We're gonna go to this local pizza place. I think it's called Camelli's, over in Little 5 Points, and we're gonna go play D&D." I'm like, "Cool, whatever." He drags me in, and we played Microlight 20 D&D, and I'm just in love with it from just.
That's fair.
Point one.
Well, thank you for coming by. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
And I think that was all the people that said they were willing to come back on camera.
I think I can get you one more.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. I'm actually going to go ahead and transition to our 6 o'clock programming. and we're going to talk a little. We kind of touched on it just now about Dungeons and Dragons. And if you have any D&D questions about the history of D&D or just questions about D&D in general, please go ahead and throw them in chat. I'll be glad to answer anything you might want to know. So let's talk a little about the history of Dungeons and Dragons. I think this will be a kind of an interesting little topic to keep people, maybe just introduce people to the history of how D&D worked. So I mentioned the Beckme set. That was my first introduction, and that was Dungeons and Dragons. And to kind of give you like a little bit of interesting for those of you who play D&D, Elf was a class. Dwarf was a class. There was no race class combinations. Elf, dwarf. There was no paladin. And the fighter was called the Fighting Man. I remember that. Then Dungeons and Dragons released Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and I played AD&D very little. My jump from the original D&D Beckme set was to second edition AD&D, so that was kind of how. Oh, we have another guest. Come on in. Come on in. Don't be shy. It's okay. We're not gonna bite. Promise. Have a seat. I'm Henry. Hey,
Hello.
pleasure to meet you. You okay?
Yeah.
Why don't you introduce yourself for the people who are watching?
Hi, I'm Cora.
Cora?
Yes.
Try to speak a little up, Cora.
I'm Cora.
So you're a customer here at Challenges.
Yes.
What do you come here to do?
I play board games, I hang out.
Okay.
I read the comic books. I love coming and getting comic books.
Who's your favorite comic character?
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn? Okay.
And Squirrel Girl and
Squirrel Girl. Oh, God, I love Squirrel Girl.
I just found Squirrel Girl.
Just found Squirrel
Yeah.
Girl? I recommend Gwenpool if you haven't.
Cool.
I love
Yeah.
Gwenpool.
Go check her out.
And what do you love most about Challenges?
The comic books and the board games. and
Just the
stuff.
comics?
Yeah,
Okay.
I come and so Matt, the guy that you were just talking to,
Yeah.
he actually comes and he plays Warhammer and
Yeah.
stuff. So that's why I come and.
Are you his wife?
Yeah, I'm his wife.
Okay, so I've heard you play. He mentioned you were into D&D?
Yes, I'm into D&D and stuff. So they um they have me painting the miniatures and stuff. So I get to like come and paint the miniatures here and everything, and they help me. And there's a guy here, I don't know his name, and I just got introduced to him, and he's helping me and learn and everything.
Cayman?
Yes, Cayman, that's his name. He's teaching me with the miniatures and everything.
As I mentioned earlier, you guys will get a chance to meet Cayman tomorrow. Cayman is the assistant manager / I'm not really sure here at Challenges Games and Comics, because the hierarchy of power here is very weird. Cayman will be coming in tomorrow to talk comic books. He's hilarious. I think you will all enjoy that. Sorry, continuing on.
Yes, I just met him the other day. He's taught me because I just started learning how to paint the miniatures.
Yeah.
And he's teaching me because I don't have a very steady hand.
Okay.
And he's teaching me how to like get a little steadier with them and paint
Like-
them and everything. And it's been really nice learning from him.
Yeah, because that's kind of what Challenges does, is they help the community and teach people skills. It's more than just a shop, really. It is. So you play D&D.
Yes.
Tell me about your character.
I'm a tiefling druid.
Okay.
It's not your very most common character.
I like tieflings. I like druids. So, what level are you?
Level 3.
You
right
just
now.
hit level 3?
Yeah, I just hit level 3.
All right. Why don't you go ahead and tell me, like, what's your subclass?
I don't have a subclass right
You don't have a subclass yet? I thought you got one at level 3.
now. Not yet. We haven't leveled to my subclass yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We just hit level 3, so we haven't gotten.
Oh, you haven't done the level up
Yeah, we
yet.
haven't
Okay.
leveled up yet.
What's your favorite thing about Dungeons and Dragons?
The fact that I get to like explore the world and get to learn and get to involve myself into like get to lose myself into the world and just
Mhm.
like become a character that I am and be able to like explore myself and be someone who like I get to be and just like be myself and
Yeah.
because I am my tiefling druid.
I see. So you put a little of yourself into the character.
Yeah.
I have a comment real quick from Soze. He is a great guy and has more knowledge in the hobby space than anyone I know. That is referring to Cayman. But thank you for coming back. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Is there anything you'd like to say to the viewers at home about saving challenges?
Challenges is like it's the best place to come and just be yourself, and challenges is like the best place to come and just hang out and just it's it's the best place to just come to challenges.
Okay. Thank you for coming by. It's great to have you on as a guest. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
You're most welcome. Thank you for coming by.
Thank
All right. Now, so we were talking a little about Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. So I really didn't get to play AD&D too much, the original AD&D. But it was closer to D&D. It was a very dungeon crawly set, but it was when they were kind of filling it up. But I really got into D&D. What really got me in 1990. So going back to where I was in 1990, I started in 1988. I played regular Beck-Me D&D for about 2 years. In 1990, or 1988, I started. In 1990, I had I was 10, so I had gotten to the point where I could like mow lawns and I could pick up pine cones and I could do little odd jobs around the neighborhood. I could earn money. And so I worked all summer. I was actually 9 because I turned 10 in September. I worked all summer, and with saving money, I was able to purchase through an online. It wasn't, well, not online. Online didn't exist. It was through a mail order company. I was able to purchase a set of second edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Second, uh, it was different from what I had been used to, and really, it was the first one that really opened my eyes to telling a story. I had always been interested in storytelling growing up. I was very much into role-playing games, unlike the NES, like the Nintendo. I love Final Fantasy. I love Dragon Quest. Those were kind of my formative things. And then when I got into creating D&D, one of the things that really drew me to D&D as a poor person, as a poor kid, was I really didn't need like a lot of stuff to play D&D. You needed a pencil, some graph paper, and then like your imagination. Every game could be different. You could run as many scenarios as you could think of, and that what drew me. When I got to second edition AD&D, the game had leveled up, for lack of a better term. There was more rules and more things you could do. You had different classes, and now you had class race combinations, and you had different ability score modifiers, and just the DMG, the Dungeon Master's Guide, really talked about telling a story and creating a world. And that was my first exposure to world building, right? And I later took that exposure to world building and applied it to what I was doing. I used to write stories. I mentioned that I'm an author now, and then that's kind of what got me my start. And then I played D&D. I created a world called Ascelia in 1990, and it was the first world I'd ever created. And I will admit, my games back then were my games were not as sophisticated as they were now. And note, I was 10, so I was 9 and 10 at this point. So I created the first kingdom, the Kingdom of Parn, which I blatantly named because the Sci-Fi Channel showed Record of the Lodos War, and the main hero was named Parn, so that's where the name Parn came from. And I wanted a good king. Like I wanted like a good king to rule over the kingdom, because I'd always loved the Ultima games by Richard Garriott, who I've gotten to meet. He's a really nice guy. But I was really into the Ultima games, and I wanted this kind of kindly good king. Like that was like a big thing for me. So I created, you're going to laugh, the Good King Highborn, because I was terribly original. And my very first game involved there wasn't much of a story. I had a world, I had a history. I had decided since it was second edition AD&D, it was the second age of Ascelia. There was never a first age. First age doesn't really exist. First age was my explanation for where stuff came from, right? So anytime I needed something from the history that I hadn't thought out yet, it happened in the first age. Like, that's kind of how it worked. And that very first game I ran, though, was I gathered my friends together. They, my friends had gathered up. Their characters had been brought before the good King Highborn and had been issued forth a quest as the greatest heroes in the realm. The good King Highborn informed them that the evil knight Jacke had kidnapped the good Princess Celia and stole her away to his dark citadel. And the heroes were charged with traveling to the Fellmire swamp, to the dark citadel, braving the labyrinth within, and rescuing the Princess Celia. It's kind of a train wreck. But my players really enjoyed it, and I got better as I ran more, because that's one of the things about Dungeons & Dragons. I tell this to everyone who's learning D&D, who wants to be a dungeon master, that your first couple games, they're going to suck. My first couple games sucked. You are not going to come out of the gate and be a great DM. But if you stick with it and are willing to apply yourself, willing to practice, willing to read, willing to work, and kind of better yourself, and also it helps you in a lot of other things. I'll go into that like when I go on a little bit more about how Dungeons and Dragons and gaming in general helped me in my career. But that was kind of how it went, right? Like and I started adding more things, and then I continued this on. In 1997, I became a playtester for a game company, because through D&D, I met other people in other role-playing games. I played White Wolf Publishing games, of Vampire the Masquerade. Mage the Ascension was the game I loved. And in 1997, I had the opportunity to playtest for Mage the Ascension. And I kind of spiraled from there and kind of advanced from there. And I am credited in a couple of books. Then I went off in the year 2000. Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition came out. Now, by this point, I had been running Ascelia for 10 years. And so 1990 came around, or 1990, 2000 came around, and Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition released. And it was a complete overhaul of the system. Totally changed how things worked. There was no THACO anymore. There was a skill system. Classes were done differently. Abilities were radically different. Everything about it was different. And so my problem at the time was I really wanted to update Ascelia to this new world. And I sat down and looked at it and said, I can't explain why things suddenly changed. So I kind of had this idea. I was going to take Ascelia and I was going to advance it. And so I looked at it and went, we're going to make 3,000 years later. So I ran the last campaign of Ascelia Second Age in AD&D Second Edition, and I ended it with a big cataclysm. And the world got cast into a near ice age, and then we did we switched to AD&D or to Dungeons and Dragons 3rd Edition, and I said 3,000 years have passed. I think it was 3,000 years have passed. There was an ice age. Humanity has started to come back, and they've reached kind of like the Bronze Age. So I did a lot of like home brewing there. And so I ran kind of a Bronze Age, very like Roman and Greek inspired setting, like a game. And I ran that for a couple of years. And then Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 came out, which was an update, and it fixed some problems with Dungeons & Dragons 3rd Edition. And it updated some of the rules, but there wasn't like a big real change. So what I did was I said, okay, well, we're going to move on to the fourth age of Ascelia, and it's going to be. So I ended with a cataclysm. I always end the campaign with a cataclysm. And there's a reason for that. There's an actual story reason for that, but I don't want to ruin it for my viewers in my regular stream. But there was a cataclysm, and we moved on. But it was a very minor one. The 3 to 3.5 is very, very minor. And then we just advanced like 300 years. And by this point, the society had reached kind of the typical fantasy medieval age, and we continued on for a while. And we played until fourth edition came out, and I ended the fourth age, and then we got ready to play fourth edition. And my group got together, and before we switch to editions, we always do a few one shots, and we do like a small mini campaign to see like how we liked it. And my groups didn't like fourth edition; they weren't feeling it. They kind of preferred third edition. And then in 2009, um, Paizo created Pathfinder, which I encountered first at a Dragon Con, and it was billed as Dungeons and Dragons 3.75. And basically, it was 3.5 upgraded and changed. And my group liked it. I liked some of the changes. I thought it was cleaner. It didn't have a lot of the bloat, which was a big problem with 3.5. Was kind of there was like a power creep, and then you had like the Tome of Battle and all these other things that came out, and the power level slowly ramped up over time until like you kind of had to use these new books or you fell behind, and player characters were built with like you needed like 30 books to make a character, and you would have to have these weird interactions between like this book and this book. And so Pathfinder kind of like wiped the slate clean. Now this is like Pathfinder first edition, kind of wiped the slate clean. And so began the fifth age of Ascelia. And it was a lot of fun. People really we had a lot of fun with it. It went on a big adventure. I didn't have to advance the age too far because I don't remember exactly how many years passed, but I didn't really have to advance the age. But magic had gotten more high magic because Pathfinder was a little more high magic than D&D 3.5 was. Not too much, but it was a little more. And so I started incorporating other realms and bringing things into Ascelia that I hadn't done before. So I moved on from there. We had a really great campaign. It was a lot of fun. My players enjoyed it. We had a lively group that was playing, and we wanted more, right? We wanted something else. And so the next thing we did was we moved on. We moved D&D. Excuse me. We moved Ascelia on there. I played Ascelia with Pathfinder for years, and unfortunately, when fifth edition came out, I kind of slept on it. Like I was enjoying what I was doing. I kind of felt like I got burned on fourth edition. I wasn't really interested in fifth edition. But then I was really active in the Pathfinder second edition playtests because I was doing because I'm an eternal DM. Like the only time I got a chance to really play was when I was doing Pathfinder Society, and that's not really the same as playing like a regular campaign. It's not as good. But I was working a lot with Pathfinder second edition, and I had personal issues with second edition of Pathfinder. I didn't like certain choices they made. I'm kind of a purist, and I kind of felt like Paizo had sort of deceived us on some of the stuff they were going to do. And there was a whole incident at DragonCon. I'm not going to go into it. But when second edition kind of came out, my group had been winding down, and I finally said, okay, we're going to go ahead. I watched some stuff on fifth edition, and I was like, okay, it's not as bad as I was kind of afraid. I really didn't like fifth edition at first, but then I kind of got to really like, I played Adventure League a little bit, and I kind of got a feel for it. It was different, but it wasn't bad. And so I went into the sixth age of Ascelia, and I advanced the age 3,000 years, and the cataclysm at the end of fifth age was the earth had been shattered. In order to save civilization, Ascelia, the mother goddess, the earth itself, raised several of the continents to the sky. And so Sixth Age of Ascelia was all about sky pirates and airships, and I had a really good group of people. Unfortunately, real life kind of reared its ugly head. We had people had children, people had jobs that sent them another person. One person was in the military and got shipped off. So we kind of prematurely ended, like we rushed the end of the sixth age. And though at the end of the sixth age, though, Dungeons and Dragons 2024 had come out. And so we were already like pulling some things from 2024 and adding them to sixth age. And so at the end of sixth age, we're getting kind of seventh age where we're at now. The big thing was the Sky Islands fell from the sky. It was an event called the Skyfall. And the surface, which was already just now recovering from the massive war at the end of the fifth age, kind of got messed up even more. But this time more people survived because they didn't, when the Sky Islands didn't just like fall like comets, they kind of slowly lowered. And while they did destroy portions of the land, it wasn't like hyper violent. Like it didn't, it wasn't like meteors hitting the planet or anything. There were changes. And so a lot of the changes that I worked into it were because of changes that 5th edition did to 5.5. And I used to call 5th edition 2024, but apparently the official title is 5.5, so that's where we're going now. So I started doing things like, for example, I mean, I can't name off the top of my head every change that happened, but there was a number one. Healing magic got more powerful, which I thought needed to be done because healing in 5th edition was really poor. The Dark Elves lost their sunlight sensitivity. So in Ascelia, in 7th Age, of Ascelia, people, the Dark Elves had been driven to the surface because portions of the Underdark got collapsed during the Skyfall, right? So they kind of came to the surface and they founded they had one person who was granted immortality by the gods, or so people think. And her name was Mizreth Dorin, and she established the kingdom of Sobret. And so that's where Sobret came from. But because they had been driven from the Underdark to the surface, and they had adapted because a lot of time had passed, they no longer had that. So that's kind of how I work in the mechanics whenever I'm like doing something with an age, when I'm advancing the age of Ascelia, and when I'm designing anything. I like to see how story and mechanics can interact because I think it creates more of a seamless overall world. And when mechanics and such kind of coexist, I think that's a better thing overall. Hold on just one second. I'm going to flip you to the intro screen for just a second. I have to check with something.
The screen we've been using is DM screen faces you. Yeah.
Okay, so we're back where we're supposed to be. Okay.
Yep.
So anyway, I'm back. So I like to mesh mechanics with the storytelling. And so that was one of the changes we made. Previously in 5th Age, there were still alignment locked races, which was a carryover from Pathfinder and 3rd edition and 2nd edition. So in 5th Age, you still had things like Dragonborn were alignment locked based on their dragon, because I had run that. Drow were still alignment locked to evil. They were not yet had that freedom. So one of the big things we dealt with in 5th edition, in 6th Age, was breaking these chains. Is what it's referred when someone gets unalignment locked, they have broken the chains that have bind them. It's usually a lot to do with divine sources and things like that. There's a whole huge document that explains a lot of it. So when we went to 5th edition, by the time of or when we went to 5-5. By the time of 5-5, the Drow had broken their chain, so they're no longer like alignment locked to evil. Dragons are still alignment locked. That hasn't changed yet. Dragonborn no longer are though, because of a player in 5th Age. Then we kind of moved on because I always let my players impact the world as it goes forward. So I'm a real big fan of letting my players move on and affect the world and change things as we go so that they feel part of Ascelia. Some of the changes that have happened to Ascelia are because of players all the way back in 1990. Some of the characters that are recurring, Melchior was actually one of my 1990 players. His the character that's the Immortal Sage, he was a character from the Second Age of Ascelia. So we kind of did that. We worked with that, and we went forward. Then just a lot of the changes we made were for that reason and that reason. It is 6:32. I'm going to go ahead and once more remind people, if you haven't, to go check out the challenges, to go check out the GoFundMe. I'm going to go ahead and throw that link in the chat again, because I'm going to get a shortened down link, pinned things. Copy link. Back here. So that is the GoFundMe supporting challenges, games, and comics. It's in the chat. If you want to find it on your own, you can go to Google and type in Help Challenges Games, find a new home, or just Help Challenges Games will get you to it. We have a GoFundMe. Last time I checked, the GoFundMe was up to $8,500, and we're aiming for, our current goal is 9,000, and we're gonna push on from there. It'll automatically raise itself. We're looking in total for about $25,000 to $30,000 is what we really need to move the store successfully. We're working on it, and we're about, at about 8,500, we're about a third of the way there, give or take. And so every little bit helps as we kind of move forward. We haven't really seen many people in chat yet.